Okay, I think that I am live. So thank you for tuning in. So first up, I should say that I'm using a new chat system on my phone. So I'm going to be trying to keep an eye on that. Usually I'm doing it on my PC, but my PC is all the way over there and the game is over here. So it's going to be a bit weird if I keep twisting all the way around. So yeah, I'm going to try and keep an eye on chat using my phone here. Thanks for tuning in. It's going to be really weird also because the camera is here now, whereas it's usually directly in front of me. So I'll be probably looking over here a lot towards the sort of like where it usually is. So if I do not look exactly, then apologies if that's a bit off-putting. But yeah. Oh, hello, Iron Spy, by the way. Thank you for tuning in. Yes, so the chat thing is obviously working. That's a good start. So this is Imperial Settlers Roll and Write. Now, I picked this up at last year's UK Games Expo. So it's almost a year, pretty much a year since I've had this now. It's a really fun game. If you've played Imperial Settlers, it's a very good iteration of it in a roll and write form. So it is essentially about building up your own sort of little empire and in roll and write form. So let's talk about the game, and I'll quickly explain how this is going to work. If you have, by the way, got your own copy, all you need is one of each of these sheets. I'll be using my own copy of the dice and the tokens here. But if you have either of these, even as a paper form, which you've printed out, or your own copy from your own game, or you can even use like a tablet or PC device to play along. Just kind of all you need to do is like mark off stuff. So if you have like a drawing app, or even just get the PDF and you're able to edit over it, then that's all you need and you can play along. The way this is going to work is I'm going to do it as if the adventure mode, which is essentially the solo mode of the game. And the adventure mode I will put is in the I've almost thought I hadn't changed over the screen there, but the adventure mode has a little scoring sheet here. So this is essentially what you're trying to do, is you're trying to score as highly as you can. The higher you score, the better you do. So we'll be comparing scores. So it won't be like the proper normal game where you roll and then somewhat draft these tokens. This is just about point scoring. This is a way for everybody to be able to play along at home without having the game. Okay, so yeah, let's carry on and explain how the game plays. Okay, so there's 4 phases in this game. The first one is to roll a dice. You see the dice. We've got 4 little dice here. This one is the actions. So if there's a 3, there's 4 4s and 1 5 on here, and that's how many actions you've got. So if you have the 5, it means that you all have 5 actions to use this round. That's essentially the same as crossing off a space, and we'll get to that later on. The other 3 dice, which you can see here, they have different resources on them. So the most common resources are the wood and the food. I think it's an apple. I think that even Ignacy actually even clarified exactly whether it was an apple or tomato recently. So I think it was food. I think it was an apple. So there's 2 of those sides on each of these dice. The other resource is the stone. There's only 1 side of each of these on the dice here. I'm not putting it underneath the camera, my bad. Yeah, so there's 1 of those on each dice. And then finally you've got the gold. This is not a resource per se, but you can use it as any of the other resources. So it becomes either a wood or a food or a stone, depending on what you want to use it for. So after you've rolled the dice and you see what you're playing with, the next phase is to draft the tokens. I think actually in the game, it's choose a favour token. So for the solo mode, what will happen is I'm going to randomly just choose 3 of those, and those are the 3 we'll be playing with the whole game. In normal game, you actually play, I think you choose 1 per player, and they give you various benefits. So for the sake of like being able to show you what they are now, I'm going to just choose 2 of those at random. In fact, actually I'll leave that, because what I would like to do is to let you guys choose them if possible. So yeah, if you want to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just choose 2 of them and I'll get rid of the 2 that you pick. So yeah, basically those favour tokens offer you an advantage in the game. So you can pick whatever one you want, and I will pick whatever one I want. But essentially they give you a benefit, whether it's being able to trade resources for points, giving you an extra action in the game, or letting you gain a gold, for example. So it'll be fairly self-explanatory with those games, with those tokens, exactly what they do. So this is the third phase that happens after you've picked your favorite token and chosen what benefit you wanted based on the dice rolls, because sometimes, you know, the dice will actually dictate what you actually want to pick. Then the third phase is expand your empire, and this is the main part of the game. So as you can see, this is your empire. These are the buildings that you can choose to upgrade when it comes to expanding your empire. So I'll go through in exactly what this means. So you'll see on the empire sheet, you have these 4 rows at the top, and you'll have these fields at the bottom. So how this game works, if I want to expand along one of these rows here, so you're always going to expand from left to right, and then each row is separate. So you see the top row requires using stone to expand into that sort of row. This one requires wood, this one requires food and sometimes nothing at all, and this one requires nothing at all, wood and stone or stone, depending on the sort of further in you get. And each of these gives you a different number of points by the end of the game, because at the end of the game you're going to score however far along that you've got that on that track. That's the number of points you're going to get, and that's what those star symbols mean. So if you ended up crossing off this space here, you would actually score 8 points at the end of the game. The second and third rows are very similar. It's just they vary by different number of points and how much resources and how many actions it takes to get into that track. You'll see the food track at the beginning requires lots more actions to get along that track, but towards the end it does require the same number of resources but less actions. And if you look at the stone, for example, it's probably easier to get along that track at the beginning, but because stone is a rarer resource, by the end of the track you're going to have to spend 4 stone with 1 action just to be able to get along one space on the track. So that's how it varies. You have to kind of choose your strategy at the beginning of the game. The 4th track was very interesting because it relates to the fields you see at the bottom. The 4th track is how you access the bridges, which lets you get along onto these islands and unlocks a new action which you can do. Instead of building along one of these, you can actually now choose to harvest. So harvesting requires you to access a certain island. So in order to access the first island, you'll need to have crossed off these 2 little boxes or built these 2 boxes. And then you have access to this bridge, which allows you to access this island. Now the islands, when you have access to them, you can choose to harvest using one of your action points. And that means you basically cross off one of those spaces and then you get to use that resource for that turn. So these do not accumulate and you can save them up for future turns. You must use them up the turn that you get them, but it does mean that you do potentially have access to more stuff. And you'll see the second bridge allows you to then access the second island as well. You can then harvest on either island after that point. And the third and fourth islands, you can see they go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. And the fourth island, as you can see, gets you lots of resources for a single action, a single harvest action, but obviously it takes a commitment to get there. And actually you need all 3 of the track. You need to basically fill this whole track up to be able to get to that fourth island. So it does require a little bit of commitment. On that note, you'll see this right-hand-most column here. The reason it's highlighted is because it's actually the biggest jump in points for each of those tracks. Well, technically not, but it's basically the highest amount of points you can get for each of those tracks. So once you've got to that point, then you are essentially maxed out, and then you can score those points. So we talked about the sort of empire. Let's talk about the building sheet. You can see this. We're going to start with the basic sheet because I think that's only fair. Because I think it's the one that most of you will actually be able to access at home. So if you're playing along at home, you can do this right here. Okay, so the buildings, they give you benefits. So if you complete a building, it requires several actions. You'll see on the left side of each building there are a number of boxes. In this case, there's 3 and 3 and 3 and 3. And over here, you get 3 different buildings, each of them requiring 2 different resources to be able to build those. And in each box, there may be a resource which you must spend to be able to cross off that box. So you can see this building, the farm, requires 3 actions total, but only one of those actions requires you spending a wood. And then that basically means that you have access to that ability from that point on for every subsequent round, I believe. Or I think it comes in immediately. I should check that actually. Buildings. Building is considered once it's finished, once all build spaces are crossed off. Once built, an ability is available to the player starting from the next round. Okay, so no, not immediately, but from the next round. The abilities and the benefits are listed on the bottom of each building. So for this one, I will go through what each of them do afterwards. But you'll see in the top right, when you're playing the advanced mode, which we are, by the way, we are playing the advanced mode, the top right actually is the sort of the plans of those buildings. And that's really good because that will allow you to score bonus points, and I'll get to those now. So essentially, if you... these plans, these sort of crossed off things, this actually relates to this track here. Once you have built a building, you may choose whether... I have to just make sure that I get this right, because this is only for the advanced mode and I often mix this up. So I'm just going to make sure I get this correct now. To create a settlement, so these are called settlements. I should have used the right terms starting from the start, so apologies for that. But once create a settlement, a player needs a number of fully crossed off sections in their empire, which is this section here, connected in a specific pattern. Sorry about the cough. So if I wanted to create this settlement here, what I would need to do is somewhere along here, I would need to find a collected number of built spaces that form that pattern. I cannot reuse spaces. So if I've built this settlement and let's say I've crossed off this space, and this space, what I cannot do later is use those same spaces again to form part of another settlement. So to indicate that, what we're going to do is we're going to draw a line block around that settlement to indicate that I've used those. And I'll probably even make it super clear by putting a big cross through the entire square to mean that's it, I cannot use that building anymore. And that should be really clear. But that is part of the rules. So to create a settlement, when the number and shape... oh yes, there is an additional phase before the round end phase. So this is basically something that will happen afterwards. So after I have chosen to build something and chosen to use my actions, my build or harvest action, to either build by crossing off a box or to harvest by crossing off one of those circles, then the next thing that will happen is the next round, which is the creating a settlement phase. This phase, as I just said, involves deciding whether you'd like to cross off any of these. You can only create a single settlement each turn. So if you forego one in a round, that means that you can only, well, if you were to build one settlement every round, which is very unlikely because of how much it needs to be, how many boxes you need to cross off, then you could build a maximum of 10 settlements. Now you might be thinking, why do I want to build a settlement? Well, the good news is that they will give you advantage. And the advantage is related to the actual benefit of the building itself. So let me explain. If I was to build this farm, from the next round on, I would actually just get one food, which I can spend as I want to cross off boxes, etc. So if I was to build a settlement, the farm, by crossing off boxes, what that would do is it would actually increase the number there by 1. So I just literally take that pencil, cross that off and add 1 to the number and create a new one. So from that point on, my farms would actually create 2 food each round. So it is beneficial. It's like a engine building almost. The settlers, as you can see here, if at least 2 resource die show the same result, then I'll gain 1 action. But if I was to build a settlement, that would be 2. If I was to build 2 settlements for the settlers, that would go up to 3. So you can see you can choose when to build settlements where you think you'll have the most advantage. The tool shop, each time you harvest, which is to cross off one of these, you gain an extra resource of that kind. So that's actually really good if you're choosing to go down the harvesting route, because it basically means that all of those resources is 1 extra than it says. And again, you could increase that, so it's actually 2 extra. So it's actually a really solid building if you can make it work for you. The collector, if all resource die show a different result, then I gain 1 gold, which, like I said earlier on, is as good as 1 of any of the other resources. So that, for example, would actually be a good example of that, because that is a different result. It's not a resource per se, but it is a different result. So that would actually mean I gain a gold if I have built the collector, by the way. The architects and the fortress, they don't have the ability to gain, as you can see, and that's, I think, it doesn't say specifically in the rule book, but that's what I think this star symbol means. These buildings will be essentially point scoring buildings. That's also probably what it means, because it's got a star in it. So yeah, and the architect works by basically, if I choose to build a settlement of this shape, then I essentially get 8 victory points. Okay, so every time I build that, it's 8 victory points, which in a game of the maximum score being 80 plus is not terrible. It's not terrible. It's like a 10% of the way towards that. And then the final building, if I was to complete 2 of these, I would simply get 3 victory points. If I was to complete all 6 of these actions, then it would be an extra 9 victory points. But again, like I said, you know, that's not a terrible amount of points, but it's obviously up to you to choose how you want to progress and which buildings you're going to choose. Okay, so that's creating the settlement phase. The final phase is round end, and that simply means us putting all of the choosing the tokens back. Now I may choose to take the token that I've used, or maybe even like separate it. So actually I'll choose the tokens that I'm going to use now. I'm going to get rid of 1 and 4. I just don't feel good about those. Hopefully they're not the one that means I don't gain an extra action. Yeah, okay, fine. So that's not exactly what I wanted, but if you can see the resources, I mean, it's just, I think my camera is slightly wobbly. So I need to just change that slightly because I want to make sure that this is good for the stream. That seems fine. I might just need to adjust it, and I think I'll just take these down. And actually, when it comes to, I might even need to adjust it more actually. So I'm just still making sure this is nice to look on stream. Okay, yeah. So basically, the one that I choose, I will bring towards me, so it'll be very clear the one that I've chosen. So I'll do it that way. Okay. So yeah, we're pretty much ready to begin. The round end essentially means that I will put that token back, and the next player becomes the active player. But obviously, as a solo mode, we don't need that. There are 10 rounds in this game. You can see the rounds indicated by the box on the left-hand side there. So I will actually just be crossing off those boxes. It also mentions in the rules that this is actually a good way for you to do any sort of tracking of resources, if that's something that you wanted to use that for. But it's also the way that you track the number of rounds in the game. Okay, so I'm going to be using this dice box here to roll the dice, and I'll try and aim for them to land there so you can clearly see them. And there is a little cheat sheet here for what actual phases of each round are. So roll dice, pick favor token, use actions to build or harvest, create settlement if you have if you're playing the advanced mode, and finally return favor tokens. But like I said, we won't necessarily need to do that or that because we are playing the solo mode. Okay, so that is now the game taught. So if you have any questions about the game rules or whatever, then please let me know. I would like to help you understand, but for the sake of the game, I think we're ready to begin. So let's just quickly go over what the favor tokens we've got this round are. So this one is the lucky coin. It lets you gain 1 gold. So if I choose that, it's essentially as good as any resource that I want. You've got the yield, which is choose a result on a resource die and harvest this resource for free. So it allows me to basically cross off an accessible harvestable resource for free. So essentially I can always get something on an island that I can access. And this one is export, so I can trade up to 3 different resources each for 1. So that allows me to basically turn unused resources into victory points. Now that's not necessarily the best the best option, but it may be the case that if I don't need stuff because I have lots of resources from various other things, I can actually turn those into points. So that's good. Okay, so we're ready to begin. So let's start round 1. I've chosen this basic one, and I think for the next game, what I was thinking about doing, instead of using the adventure mode sheet, by the way, which are all unique sheets, you can see each of these sheets is individual, with individual artwork, which is just incredible, and each different play style. You can see there's some kind of really wacky ones there. For example, that one is the Scarabee's Fortress, and you get 2 victory points for each horizontal line or vertical line of 4 crossed off spaces, which is just a bit insane, really. So that's kind of exciting. I don't think I'll be using that this time, but one of the sheets you can print off on the website of Portal Games, which who very kindly, by the way, provided this for free, is the UK Games Expo sheet. So I actually will be playing with that one, and we'll be trying to score the 80 points maximum from that sheet, and it's very cool, very quirky, sort of Easter eggy kind of sheet for the UK. So yeah, we'll be playing with that one. Hopefully that will be fun as well. So I'll leave that to the side for now. Okay, so we're ready to begin. So yeah, first things first, let's roll those dice. Now what I really want is 5 actions, because that is truly the best way to start. And what I definitely didn't want is the number 3 there. So yeah, unfortunately, that does mean that three actions this turn. That's all we've got, but we can do it. Okay, so first things first, I have to choose which favor token to take. Now this one gives me an extra resource, but with 4 resources and only and 3 actions, it doesn't necessarily seem like the right call for that. So what I could do is I could aim to build something here, maybe to use this action and just gets me an extra resource, but again, it doesn't necessarily feel like the right option for me. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to get this built as soon as I can, the settlers, because for me, being able to get an extra action in this game where it is probably going to be my best option of mitigating any time I roll 3 actions. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this just in case. Maybe I will take this one because I feel like I'm going to have a lot of potentially spare ways to gain points here. By the way, this is where you'll score all your resource, your settlement points at the end of the game. And this is if in case you score any extra points, for example, using the export token. So yeah, I feel like my strategy right now is going to try to build this, which means I'll have 3 actions, I'll have a spare one, so I may as well turn that extra one into a point. So I'm going to take the export token. Third phase is now to use the action. So I have 3 actions. The only fiddly thing I think about this game is there's no easy way to keep track of actions. You could do it in here, but I find it very fiddly. So I actually end up using my fingers to sort of mark the number of actions I have. So I'll be doing this, which is very weird, but it works. Okay, so 3 actions. The first action is going to be to cross off this. So I've used this action to build the first action. So I've got 2 actions left. My second one is going to be use the wood here. So I'm going to use the resources by doing that, but you can do it however you want as well. So my second action is going to be to build that. And the third action is going to be to use the gold as the stone, and then I'm going to cross that off. So now I've built the settlers. This means that if any round in the future where 2 resource dice show the same result, I will gain an extra action. So that's like kind of a long-term payoff. I keep looking over here, but there's no camera over here. This is where the camera is. Okay, so yeah, that's my first action. So I'm going to give it just a few more seconds, just in case you haven't finished off your own actions. I'm going to return my token there. So that's done. And then I'm going to use my bonus export to turn that extra resource, the food, into a point. So I'm just going to put 1 point here, and that is me done. So I think that's enough time. You could always, I guess, pause the video in case you haven't finished yet, but that's the end of round 1. So I will mark this by doing a little cross there, and we're on to round 2. So it's as simple as that, really. So now I'm going to roll. I'm not going to create a settlement because I've got no space to do that. So yeah, maybe really now hoping to roll 2 of the same result. Oh, well, there we go. So this is great. This is actually a pretty decent roll because not only do I have 4 actions, but because of the way the dice are rolled, you can see 2 wood there, meaning I actually get an extra action. So I got 5 actions this round. So let's use them wisely. Now I've got 2 wood over here, and I've got a food. So it means I've only got 3 resources. And what I probably should try and do is to try and build this settlement so it gives me an extra action, because I feel like that's the real key to this game, is getting a lot of actions. So that's what I'm going to try and do. The way that I see the best way for me to try and do that right now, it's going to be tough. I'm not going to be able to do it this turn, actually, because the other thing that's very important in this game when it comes to building these settlements is you cannot rotate these. These must be drawn as they are shown on the sheet here. So if I wanted to build that one, I'd need to build, I'd need to make that sort of 3 long bit in either of these top 3 columns, because there's no way I could build it using these 3, because there's nothing here, do you see? So that's something to keep in mind. Now, if I want to build that, I need to expand along one of these. And because I've got 5 actions, but not a lot of resources, maybe I should try use this for 1, using those 2 wood there. This for 2 and 3, so I can access some resources, and then 4 and 5. So it's not going to help me right now, but it will hopefully help me to build that later on. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So the first action of 5, so I'm going to use 1. So I'm going to spend these 2 wood to cross that off there. The second action I'm going to use is to build this building here. The third action I'm going to use is to build this building here, therefore unlocking this bridge, and to indicate that you just put a little circle around it. And then the fourth action I'm going to do is to build this little building here, which requires me spending this food. And the fifth and final action, which, by the way, just to clarify for anyone who's just tuned in, is only because I have the settlers building, which gains me an action when I have 2 dice showing the same result. So my fifth and final action I'm going to use to spend to build this thing here. Now, that's the end of that turn. So what I'm going to do is going to give you like a minute just for you to... do you know what? I mistakenly didn't use one of these. So this is hilarious because I didn't choose this. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to retcon some of my my turn. I'm going to see if I've got a pencil here with an eraser, so I am going to use this, and I'm going to remove this building here. So I'm going to remove that one, and I'm actually going to cross off the food instead by choosing this token. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the harvest action for free because I can choose one of the resources here that's on a dice, which I did. So essentially it means that I've given myself an easier to build building for a future turn. So that's the end of that round. Now I'm going to choose whether to build a settlement. Well, as you can see, I've only built these 2 and this one, and there's no buildings I've got for that. So yeah, that's essentially my turn. So I return that token. Next time I will try and remember the fact that there is that whole thing. Even there's a cheat sheet here for it. Okay, so that's the end of the round. So I think it's given you enough time to complete it at home. So we're on to the third round. So I indicate the next round. The second round is over by a little cross in there. Okay, so the third round, let's make sure we do it properly this time. Roll the dice. Again, really hoping for a 4 or a 5 on that pink dice. So let's see what happens. It's 3. And even worse, I can't even use my ability here because none of these are showing the same result. So that's not the best roll, but we'll go with it. So what have I got? So I've got a food, a wood, and a gold. Now what would I like here? There's no way for me to gain extra actions. So it's either whether I do this, which actually might help me because I can build something here. So yeah, it's either whether I build with another coin, take another coin that allows me to build these sort of more advanced buildings, which again, it's got to decide whether that's right. Or maybe I can choose to build one of these. Each time you harvest, gain 1 resource of that kind. Each time, if all resource dice show a different result, like gain an extra resource of the coin, or I can do this, which just gives me food. None of them seem particularly amazing right now. It all requires me to spend actions that I don't have. So I think, because I might end up... Well, let's have a think about this, because if I use this, and the wood to cross off this building here, that's 1 action for 2 resources. I could use this to gain another resource, which is food. There's no way to get that. Oh, I could harvest and just build this. I think maybe that's what I'll try and do. And the next turn I will be able to do that. I think that's what I'm going to try and aim to do. Okay, so 3 actions. First action is going to be to spend... Well, first I'll take this. Let's not forget that. So I'm going to take this one here. So now I have 2 gold, a wood and a food. So here's my 3 actions. The first one is I'm going to spend this gold. So I'm just going to push it back. And this wood here to cross off this building. So that's 1 action. The second action that I'm going to use is to build, to harvest this wood here to give me another wood. So now I can use that wood as well as this gold coin for my third and final action, which would be to build this. Now, it's a shame I didn't roll 4 because I would have been able to create a settlement for that this turn. But you know what? It is what it is. Okay, so that's the end of the third round. No settlements to be built again, unfortunately. I am really not doing very well this. The rolls are going against me, but that is the game. So yeah, we'll carry on. Okay, so let's cross off I've crossed off the third round action, and now we're going to roll again. So this game can actually go quite quickly when you know what you're doing. Okay, so this is good because I've got 5 actions because of the way the dice rolled. I've got 2 stone here, which is actually quite rare to roll that. I've got 4 actions here, but because of the settlers, actually means I gain an extra action, so I got 5. Okay, but what to spend those on? I need one free action to build this, and then I can build the settlement for that, which is great. So let's aim to do that. And then maybe I'll just try and advance down this one here, maybe. You never know. Is there a way for me to gain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? I'm only thinking because if I'm able to build the settlement here, then what I could do is then build another settlement up here that kind of overlaps with it. But is that too greedy? I possibly should have been trying to go along this route here to build the first one so I can build another one up there. But you know what? I don't necessarily feel I'm going to get another use out of the settlement and build another settlement with the settlers. So yeah, I think that let's just focus on getting anything we can that'll help us this time. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is, right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I could do it, you know. I just need to get the right resources. So if I got gold, if I took gold here, and that could be a food, and then I harvested a food for that one, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actions. It's not going to work, is it? Because I need 2 food and I won't get it. Yeah, I feel like I'm probably just being a bit greedy, and maybe I can build this one up here later on, so we'll try that instead. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to now use my first action I'm going to take the coin because I do need that. So I'm going to take that gold and that wood, and my first action is going to be to cross this spot off here. No, do I need to do that anymore? I don't. I'm going to do anyway because I think I can. So yeah, first action is going to be to do that. So I've spent that and I've spent that, so I'm going to pop that back. The second action I'm going to do is I'm going to cross this building here, this free one. So there we go. I can definitely build that settlement. The third action I'm going to do is I'm going to spend these stones. And the fourth action, so I'm going to use third and fourth action is to just cross these off just for some points. Because rolling 2 stones is quite good. Yes, I possibly could have used them here. In fact, that's exactly what I'll do. I don't need to build this up. Getting extra resources is still pretty good. So yeah, I'm kind of changing it up all the time. This isn't necessarily how you play the game. But you know what? It's a bit of fun, isn't it? So the third and fourth action I'm going to do, and the fifth action actually, is I'm going to build this. Do I build this? I think I will, because I have been using that. Yeah, so I'm going to build third, fourth, and fifth action, and that is complete. Okay, so that's it. That's what I've done. So I've used all of those. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actions. Okay, so now we go into the third part 2 phase. It's a bit of a mouthful. It allows me to build a settlement. Now we know what I'm going to do because I've been talking about it the whole time, but let's actually do it. So I'm going to use these buildings here. So I draw a line around this. I'm going to build this whole settlement here. And this means that from now on, starting from the 5th round, I will now get an extra 2 actions. And I'm going to mark that on the box in a second. So I get now 2 actions every time a resource rolls the same result. So that's really what I hope for next time and every round after this, because I will gain more actions, and that's really the way to excel. Okay, so that's the end of the 4th round. I also now get the ability that if I do harvest, I gain 2 resources. So I can assume I've got 2 wood there, 2 food, 2 stone, potentially even, look at that, 4 stone if I get there. So yeah, that's the end of the 4th round. So let's carry on. Token goes back, of course, but obviously I'm not going to use it. Now we go into round 5. All right. That is, I've rolled 3 of the 5 rounds. I've rolled a 1 in 6 chance of getting that 3. So I am very cursed with these dice, I do feel like. Okay, so at least 2 resources show the same result. I don't gain anything. That's not very fun, is it? I'm having a very tough time. I do not think I'm going to get that 80 score today. But we'll go with what we've got. Okay, so I have all different resources. It would have been nice if I'd gone for that route. Now, what to spend these on? I really should try to advance down some of these. So I think maybe this turn I'm going to spend that action and that wood to go there. And then do I spend the stone or do I go for the food? I think the food is probably the best option because it means I could potentially upgrade that again. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So my first action, I'm going to unlock this food because I can. The second action, I'm going to spend to use this to build this, and the third action, I'm going to spend that wood. So I didn't get to spend this stone, which actually sucks. Oh wait, in that case, I will just take that, and I'll just turn that stone into a point. Yeah. So there we go. So 1, 2, 3 actions. Use the stone to turn into a point. So that's another point there. That's not going to be 11. That's obviously going to be 2. I'm using the old prison cell counting method. And there we go. That's the end of that round. So that's end of round 5. We're actually whizzing through this game. Okay. So do I want to build a settlement? Well, no, I can't because I got no orientation of buildings that lets me. And yeah, so we carry on. Round 6. Here we go. Okay, so this is good. This is good because it means I roll 2 matching resources. So it gives me 2 extra actions. So I'm on 6 actions now, which is actually pretty good. And they also means that I just realized, is that right? Yeah, that's fine. So all of those and 6 actions, 2 wood, which is good because I do want to go along this track, I guess. It would have been good to have food, but if I do harvest food, I will get 2. So I can go a little bit along that track if I wanted. I can get 3 food. So 2, well, yeah, 2 from there, 1 from there. So I can get here. But, you know, actually, so let me think about this. If I've got 6 actions. So if I use 1 and 2 to get 4 food, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, so I won't be able to use them all anyway, but I should try and invest in that a little bit. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to go 1 action to build this, 2nd action to cross that off. That's all of the resources done. So I have to figure out this as well. Ooh. Choose a result and harvest. I harvest this resource for free. And if I don't have to spend actions to do that, the player chooses 1 resource die and may harvest the roll type from available. Well, that's pretty damn good because if I use this token, essentially means that I can choose any of those resources in fields that I've got for free, so I don't have to spend an action. So assume I take this, and I use the food on it, then I can harvest basically up to 6 apples or food for free. So I would basically then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then I can actually then build settlers again, all within the legit realm of the game. So actually I would only need 1, 2, so I've got 1, so I only need 2 more. So let's do that. I think we should do that. So we'll take the yield token that allows us to use food to harvest for free. So I will take 4 food from these. Oh yeah, so I unlocked this, by the way, in the last round, so I do have access to this island. So now I have access to 5 food. So 1 action, 2 action, 3 action, 4 action, 5 action, and then just because I've got them right there, I'm going to use this 6th action to build this building right here. So there we go. So that's that. So yeah, let's make the most of this. Now I'm going to build this 2nd settlement for the settlers. So that actually goes up to 3 now. So wow, this is actually, I might need to change this because I can't access it. Okay, so yeah, there we go. So I'm up to 3 extra actions now if I well, because I am going to do this. So let's build this. Now it's not going to gain me loads of points now, but there's 4 rounds left where I can make the most of this. So let's do this. Cross all of those off. I mean, I'm still getting some points for these, so that's good, but not loads. So yeah, end of round 6. And now if I'm to roll 2 matching resources, I'll get 3 extra actions, which actually could make a huge difference. So the final action of the round, final thing of the round is to return that token. I actually might need to move these a little bit down, so let's do that. Actually, what I'm going to do, quickly, because I've noticed that it's doing it, is I'm going to quickly change this so that it stops auto-focusing. So give me a second. Oh, it's not auto-zooming, auto-focusing. That's very strange. Oh, no, it is. It is. Okay. So let's stop that. Let's stop that from happening. I think that's legit then. Okay. I think that's okay, isn't it? Is it clear? Can you see? I might need to just change it again. Bear with me. Properties. Let's try this again. I think it's fine, isn't it? I think that's quite clear. I think that's it, isn't it? No? I can't actually tell. Yeah, that seems clear enough. Okay, cool. Sorry about that. All right, so back to the game. All right, so now we're up to 3 actions. So we're on the end. We're around 7. So yeah, tokens are back. Let's roll this dice. Okay. Good news is 2 matching resources, so we do get 3 extra actions this round. So we're on 7. But how to use them? Well, luckily, if we take this, we can actually harvest for free. And I've got lots of wood here. So 2, 4, 6. 6 wood, which I can do 3, 6, which is actually, 8. I could, right, so 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. 3, 6, 9, no. Now, do I do it the food? I got 2 extra here. Well, actually, would you rather draw the settlers around the apples and a wood instead, so you can draw a collector around the first 3 in the bottom row? Not sure if I'm following correctly. Would you rather draw the settlers around the apples and a wood instead? Apples and a wood instead, so you can draw a collector around the first 3 in the bottom row. Collector. No, so here's the thing. If I was to play, oh my gosh, my throat is terrible. So here's the thing. With the settlements, if you want to use a settlement, you have to draw it in exactly the right orientation, and you have to have filled in each of the boxes underneath where you want to build. So I built the first one here because I just didn't have enough access to stone, meaning I couldn't fill this up, because that would have been preferable, right? Because then the next one that I choose to build, I could have built in this slot here, which I was more able to complete. But I took the hit on it because I knew that if I wasn't going to be able to build this for a while, especially because I haven't really rolled that many stone, so I built this here. Now I cannot use these buildings again. These are now used up for this settler's settlement. So I have to create a new sort of space in here in order to be able to build another settlement. The collector, unfortunately, is a 3 tall one, so I would have had to build it. Earliest I could have built it is in this column here, I'm assuming, if I didn't build this one. So I could have either built it here, here, and here, or here, here, and here. However, because I chose to build another settlement for the settlers, I've actually now stopped myself from being able to draw the collector until here now, in this column, because I need to cook 3 separate spaces. Does that make sense? I'm not sure if I explained that well enough. However, if you looked at the farm here, for example, if I built the farm, I could build it here. Yes, I added that in after the initial explanation, so I do apologize for that. But yeah, the farm is the closest one I can build right now, because I could fit that one in here, and all I have to do is actually build up to that point, which is actually still going to be quite tricky, because as you can see, I'm not rolling that much wood. But yeah, that's how that works. So it's actually more tricky than it looks. Intuitively, I do get it, because it does make sense that it feels like you would be able to reorient them, but you can't in this game. And actually, if you look at some of these other buildings, some of them can be quite annoying, like that Eden project. It does allow you to gain... I'm not showing that right, am I? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong thing, sorry. Yeah, if you look at the Eden project, for example, it's actually very good, because it allows you to basically mitigate when you roll a 3, because it just bumps it up to a 4, and if you get a 5, it actually takes it up to 6. But if you look at the shape of that being a cross, like, that's going to take up so much space, and to be able to build another one is so awkward. So that's the thing, you've got to kind of look at those settlements. This one, look at this, 16 points for this one, but it's just a little like square with a gap in the middle, so that would literally take up so much space, and then the next one you would only be able to start like afterwards. So it's kind of nice, like having to consider that. In fact, if you're looking right there, you could use the Uffington White Horse underneath the thing, so you could build that square there, and then the Uffington Horse could just go there. So that's the kind of thing you need to kind of think about when you're playing this. So it's a neat game, and it really does make you think. But yeah, so let's carry on. I've got 7 actions. I've got 2 wood. I have got a food, but I potentially have more wood if I use the yield action. So I'm going to need to think just briefly about whether it's worth me taking the yield to get more wood. So I could potentially just use it, but I've got loads of actions. I've got no stone, but I could use an action to get stone. In fact, I think maybe here's what I'll do. So I'm just going to think out loud here. I'm going to go 1, 2 just to access this, because look how much stone is there. So 1, 2. Interesting trade-off between gaining abilities and potentially hampering yourself. Yes. Especially because like, if I'd planned better, maybe I could have got 8 points and that would have been easy to sort of slot in there. But I thought it was because I was getting really bad rolls, like legitimately bad rolls at the beginning. I was just wanting to gain myself an advantage where I've not rolled a 5 this whole game. And I'm already up to like 3 extra actions potentially for the rest of the remaining 3 rounds. So it was my decision to go, yeah, I'm going to just go for a potential opportunity to score more, get more actions, which I feel are really valuable in this game. At the risk of scoring less points. So yeah, probably not going to do very well this round, but that's the game. That's the game. It's the whole point of it. Okay, so yeah, so I'm going to talk through my actions right now. 1, 2, using 3 maybe. So I get 3. One of them is to harvest stone. Spending 2 and a 3rd action with one of those stones. A 4th action with that. If I take this, I can harvest wood for free. So I would essentially can use that to gain 2 extra wood, which is good because I could then spend 5th action to do that, and potentially another wood to gain 6 wood. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm not entirely sure this is going to work, but I'm going to try and track this. Okay, so let's do... This is a heck of a thing. So I'm going to take the yield, which lets me resource wood for free this round, because I want to try and bump this up on the track. I think this is the biggest point scoring opportunity I'm going to get. So yeah, so one action is to harvest stone. Then the second action is going to be to spend that stone here. The 3rd action is going to do this, and the 4th action is going to spend that 2nd stone. So I'm out of stone now. I've got 3 actions left, so that's the easy way to think about it. I can harvest wood for free, so I may as well harvest 2 wood to gain 4 wood, 2 wood spaces to gain 4 wood. So yeah, that's free, so I don't have to spend any actions to do that. So 1 and 2, and technically I've unlocked this bridge here now, so I could have done that for more, but I think I'll just save that, unless I could get 4 more wood. You know what? I've done it. It doesn't matter. So that's my fifth action is going to then spend this. So that's 3 wood left. My 6th action is going to do that. Now I can harvest more wood, but I only get 1 more action. So, let's just do this food thing here. I think that's my 7th and final action. Cool, done. Wasn't a bad turn overall. I did advance quite along these, and annoyingly I've just realised, had I opted to get 1 more food, I could have built another settlers, but you know what, that seems like crazy town. I can't build a settlement because there's nowhere I can build it. I can't build the farm, I can't build anything, so yeah, that's going to be a lost cause. Anyway, so no settlement building this time. The tokens are returned. Now I go on to the eighth round. Oh, look at that. 5 and 3 extra actions. So actually I get 8 actions this round, which is quite incredible. 8 actions to spend, and I've got 2 wood there. Do I use this opportunity now when I've got so much opportunity? I could. Now, if I had stone, I could just spend an action just to get stone, and then try and harvest food, because I've got that there now. And look, I would get then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 food, 8 food total. Would I be having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? So I would only have to, right, can I do this? If I unlock this with all of those, I need stone to do that. I would get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yeah, actually I think what I'm going to do is just go all in on the food, and just going to take the yield token. So choose a result on a resource die, harvest this resource for free. Now, to be able to access this, I need to build with 2 stone and 2 wood. Now I have 2 wood already, which is good. So I need to then now I need to get 2 stone. So I'm going to spend my first action here to be able to get this stone. Unless I go for here and just get more and then just build more of those afterwards, I think that's probably not a bad idea. So yeah, I think I'm going to use 3 stone here. And because of this, I gain 4 stone. So I got 4 stone and one action, by the way. So my second action is going to spend 1 of those wood to build this. My third action is going to spend 1 of those 4 stone that I have. So now I'm down to 3. Wait, have I done this right? Did I don't think I built that, did I? Yeah, this is a bit of a tricky thing to keep track of. So I may need to even write down. I think I'm going to use a back of one of these previous player sheets just to make sure I do this right. Okay, so I just harvested 4 stone. Okay, and then so that's 1 action. So that's 1 action. Action's 1. The second action I did was to cross this wood off. So I've used up one of the wood. So yeah, that goes down there. The third action I've used is to cross off one of these stones. So I actually only have 3 stone left. So 3. The fourth action is going to... Oh my gosh, I've just realized. Am I going to have enough to... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So actually I only need 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I was to get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I still need to access that, but I can do that for free. So I'm on 4 actions. I have 8 actions because of my my settlers here. So I've gained 3 actions because 2 of them showed the same results. So I think we're still okay. I'm just going to be very careful. No, 1, 2. No, that's not going to work. It's not going to work. I've done this wrong. So yeah, this is the game. This is the game, really. It's just for you to manage how many actions you've got. I think I just got greedy because I thought I had loads of actions, but actually it's not that easy. So yeah, I'm just going to retcon that slightly. This is why you play in pencil. So I actually now, I'm back to where I was before. I have 8 actions. If I forego this and just focus on maybe something else, I do want to get that, so maybe I will just spend one of my actions to cross that off anyway, so it limits the... so yeah, I'm going to use one of my actions to do that. So I spent 1 wood. The second action is... I mean, I've got food anyway, so maybe I will just do that. And I think I'm just going to try and advance up here maybe with the rest of my actions. But I can't because I have... I can't resource that. I can't harvest that for free. I can harvest wood and food for free. This is interesting. This is an interesting little puzzle. So yeah, this is the way this game just messes with your head. Okay, so I could build these. But it would require me getting lots of stone. So I've used 1 action. Second action, I think I'm just going to build this anyway. So yeah, 2. So 2 actions, I've spent those. So I've got 1 wood left, 6 actions. The third action, if I choose a result on one of these, is you going to get wood for free, which would only get me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wood, which I could spend to 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I'm just going to have to just go for it. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work, but yeah, I feel like I just have to like go for it. So I've spent 2 actions. I spent my wood and my food. My third action, I'm going to harvest this stone here. This gets me 2 stone. So third action. My fourth action is going to spend one of those 2 stone that I've just got on that. And my fifth action is going to spend the remaining wood and the remaining stone from that action to build this. So now I'm going to score 9 points because I've unlocked that, and I have unlocked this bridge. Now I have 3 actions left, and I can yield stuff for free now. So I've got 3 actions left, so I could harvest 3 food here and just unlock those. I think that's not a terrible idea. Or I could get those wood and just unlock that for free, but then I'd be wasting action. So yeah, I think the best thing I can do right now is to take this, so my free harvest action here. So I'm going to do that. And my remaining 3 actions is to spend those 4 food to go 1, 2, 3 actions with the 4 food. And I could potentially now, as you can probably tell, I could either use this tool shop here to get that, or I could even use the architects to just score straight up 8 points. I'm just interested what you feel about that, because that's quite a decision to make. I could also build another settlement here, so I could get another 4 actions, which is crazy. I've only got 2 rounds left to use them, and it would require the right dice results. Or I could build the architects here just for 8 points, or I could do the tool shop, which gives me 2 extra resources anytime I harvest, which could be good with the yield action. So it's a real trick. I'm just curious. I'm not entirely sure what... didn't mean to do that. Oops, no, I don't want to do that. That's what I want to do. There we go. Yes, so I need to now decide what the right thing for me to do is. And I think the right thing for me to do is, because I'm not going to score very good points, I don't think it's very useful to gain more action because I'm already getting quite a lot, and it could be that I roll rubbish the next 2 turns. So I think that the best thing for me to do, even with that extra harvesting resource, I'm going to build the architect settlement. There is a potential I could do it again before the end. Actually, I could do it again. I could, because I could build one here, and the next round I could build that. So actually, yeah, I think I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go for the architect settlement. So I do this, cross here, down here, like that, and then just big old crosses in the middle there, and I will actually score this. So I write down 8 points here, because I forgo the tally thing at the moment, and I've scored that at the end of the game. Okay, so there we go. So that's the end of the 8th round. The 9th round, I'll put the token back, and we start by rolling the dice. Hello to anyone who's just joined, by the way. Okay, so this is good. So first I've got 4 actions, but because I have the settlers and 2 of the same result being rolled, I actually get 3 extra actions. So I'm up to 7 actions again. Do I want to take a token which allows me to harvest either wood or food for free? Wood would be quite nice. I could gain 4, 5, 6, 7 wood, 8, 9, which would actually mean all I need to boost that up to the top there, which is pretty good. Let's do that. Let's take the yield. I don't think I need the extra action, the extra gold, although that would mean stone, but I can harvest stone. It's fine. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So that's my plan. I'm going to take the yield token. So I choose a result. I'll choose the wood, and I can harvest that for free now. Okay, so speaking of that, let's do that right now. So I can take this 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so I'll harvest this wood here, and this wood here, and this is a free action because of the yield, and I get 3 plus 1 because I built a tool shop, 1 plus 1 plus the tool shop, so I get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm going to spend all 8 of those using 2 actions, 2 of my actions, so 1 and 2, which is great because now I get 18 points for the second track there, the wood track. So I've got 6 actions left, and I have 1 food and any other stuff I gain from harvesting. So I have 6 actions left. 5 actions left. I have 5 actions left. What to do? Now, I could try to do this for 5. Could I get that? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, I mean, that's crazy. Can I get food? How much food can I get? So if I do this, so 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I only need 5 actually. So if I take this, 3, 4, won't be enough. So if I spent an action to do this, basically if I spend an action to do this, I would actually get 3 apples plus food plus the one I get here. So I'd need to spend another action. So there's 2 actions of my 5 remaining. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? Because I just did that. So 2 actions plus 1 to harvest. I spent the wood, didn't I? Yeah, so I got to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and I get 1 action left, which I don't know, maybe I just waste it. Or maybe I just hold off and maybe build something in stone. So I could go, for example, if I took this one, I get 3 stone, so it'd be 1, 2, 3, and then I basically just take that apple and then just build that. Maybe that seems to be an action. So yeah, let's just do that. So I got 5 actions left. I keep forgetting this is one of those things. This is why I took this sheet, but it's not helped me at all. It's just a bit mental. Okay, so yeah, basically, I took the wood for free, so I don't have to spend any, but I did 2 actions there, so I got 5 left. So I can go 1 to take 3 stone, 2, 3, harvest an apple, and then just spend that action there. So 4, 5. Yeah, let's do that. So let's do 1, 2. It does mean wasting an apple, but that's fine. 3 to get 3 stone, and then 4 and 5, and that's purely just for points reasons. Okay, I just realized something actually. I could have used some of that stone to build this, which is points, but it doesn't matter. Done it now. Okay, so we're at the end of round 9. I've returned the token, build a settlement, and yes, I'm going to build another one of these architects because they are mega point scorers, and I can't turn that down. So yeah, let's do that. 8 points for that. So yeah, let's cross that out, and I build myself another 8 points in here. I don't think I'm going to get another one of them in. I could if I zoomed down that track with the stone, but very unlikely for that. Okay, so end of round 9, we're into the final round. Now, what I really want now is to roll 2 stone or 3 stone or 2 gold even, or 3 gold, and a nice high number 5 on the action dice. So let's see what happens. Whoa! Okay, clearly I'm psychic because I just asked for that and I got it. Well, I didn't get the 5 on the thing, but I got these 2, and because of that, it means I get final round, I get 7 actions, and those can be stone, which is great. Now, interestingly, if I choose that with this, choose a result, I could harvest gold for free. So ultimately means if I did do that, I could get like 4 gold because I get the bonus extra from there. So yeah, this is actually interesting. Now I need to decide what my final strategy should be. I can use this and just harvest that for free, but it just seems crazy because I can just build that for an action, you know? What I should try and do, I mean, actually, do I want to gain an extra gold? It's kind of wild. Or I could just do this and trade 3 different resources for points, but it seems like I'd spend a lot of actions to do that. So I think that the best thing for me to do would actually be to try and advance along here. Now, with 7 actions, and I took that, so let's say I harvested that, so that's 6 actions left, and I took that, so there's 5 actions left. I could go 1, 2, because I would get 7 stone, but 9, 3, 6, 8. Yeah, I think actually I could gain 8 points by just zooming along there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6 to build that one. And then a 7th action, I don't even know what I would do with that. I can't build that, maybe, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just going to have to go for that. I think that's what I'll do. So I'm going to use my, do I use the food or do I use the gold? Because that would actually get me more. So let me think about this. So if I use the yield action and just got 2 extra gold, so it'd essentially be then 4 gold. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 for those 2 extra. So I'd have 11 stone with 5 actions. So it'd be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then I could potentially do that one. I wouldn't be able to do that one actually. So I'm missing 4 points. I don't know. It's really difficult, you know. I could just, I mean, to get along that track, how much would I say? I'd get 12 points, or I could get 8 points plus 4 points, which is 12 points. And it doesn't make it any better for me to get it here, so I don't know what the best thing is to do now. I could also choose to gain that for free, but I don't think it makes any difference, because if I'm spending like 1 action to get 4 gold, 2 actions to get 8 stone, 3 actions to get 11 stone, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, it doesn't help me. At this point, it's just kind of crazy math. So for the sake of making the stream more bearable to watch, what I will do is I will build up this stone as much as I can, just so I can say I did it. Okay, so let's do that. So my first action, I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to take this. It's annoying I can't get up to there, because if I did, I could potentially build another of these architects. But maybe I don't get, maybe if I just get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, and then I spend, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, one of those coins is 8, and then I just spend maybe the wood and a stone to get that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I mean, I just an action. I'm just what do you call it? Procrastinating right now for actually having to make a decision. So it would be nice actually if I had like some sort of like chits where I could just spend the actions, but yeah, it's a bit tricky this. Okay, so first action, I am going to take this because I do think there's merit in doing that. And actually, if it's just an action to do that, maybe I'll just gain this. I don't think it helps me to just. No, that seems wild. No, I'll take this. Okay, so then I'm going to spend the gold. So I'm going to use it on the gold. So my first action is to my first non-action is to harvest that. So I actually have 4 gold right now. 4 gold. So my first real action, I'm just going to put gold 4 and food 1. And so my first real action is going to harvest this stone. So 1 action down. I have now 4 stone. I'm going to use my second action to get this stone over here. So that's actually 7 stone plus 3. So I'm on 7 stone right now. My third action is going to spend this. So that's 2 stones. So I'm down to 5 stone. My fourth action is to spend this. So I'm down to 2 stone. Fourth action is that. My fifth action is going to spend another 3 stones. So that's 2 stone remaining on 1 of my gold. So I'm down to 3 gold and I've got 2 actions left. So I got 3 gold, 1 food and 2 actions left. All right, we're going to get there. 3 gold, 1 food and 2 actions left. So I could do this. 2 actions left. I could just do that for 3 points. No, it's definitely better for me to do this. So I am actually going to spend this. Yeah, I'm going to have to waste an action, which I hate doing, but I have to do it. So I'm going to spend that there. I was very close to being able to get another one of these architects, which is a shame, but it's fine. I've still got a decent number of points there. And then my final action, which I've got 1 food to do, is literally nothing I can do. Maybe I'll just build half a farm, a third of a farm. That's what I'll do. So there we go. That's the end of the game. Okay, so how this works now is I add up all my points. So first of all, what I'll do is I'll go along this track here, and at the furthest point of that track, I will look at the number of stars underneath and I'll add that into the box. There goes 15 for that. I already scored the maximum for that track. On this track, I got 17 points, okay? And then this track, I got 9 points because I already got to the last part. Oh, I could have built a settlement, by the way. I don't think it benefits me to gain any settlement right now because the only ones that score points are these. And I couldn't build that. And this one, there's no space for me to build another one of those because the orientation has to be right. So we can ignore that. Now I scored 16 points here. which I'll just add up at the end, and I scored 2 points here. So I'll add these up now. So 15 plus 18 is 33, plus 17 is 50, 50 plus 9 is 59, then 59 plus 7 is 59 plus 8 is 67, plus another 5 is 75, 77 points. Now, do you know what? That is not bad. So if we look at the track, which I'll put here, the maximum points you can score is 80 plus. Well, the maximum rating you can get is 80 plus, and that makes you an emperor. I scored 77, so I was actually 3 points away from the top score ever. So it makes me a king, which I knew I was a king already, and 1 away from the top. Now that's not bad considering how many bad rolls I was getting earlier on in the game. So I'm actually really pleased with that. Does that, I mean, if you were watching, does that game make sense? I mean, I'm going to start another game using the UK Games Expo sheet, and I'm going to be a lot quicker for this game. But if you do have access to the sheet and you want to join in, you can do so. I should also mention at this point that if you aren't following me on Twitch right now, it's free to do so. You just click on the little heart icon if you exit full screen. I don't even think you can do it in full screen. Let me just check, actually. Is there a way you can do it? No, you can't do it on full screen, but if you exit full screen, you can actually click on a little icon that lets you get a notification whenever I go live with video game and board game and interview stuff. So please do that. But yeah, we're just going to set up real quickly for this one. But I'm really happy with that. 77. I didn't name my village. I should call it Chitopia. So Chitopia scored me 77. So there we go. So that's that. That's my sheet. That's me done. I'm going to post that on Twitter later. That's it done. Okay, so we're going to start a fresh new one. I'll get rid of that as well. And I'll put those... I don't know if anyone else is like me, but I generally do keep all of the sheets from any games I ever play. Just because, especially games like Patrick Doodle, where you have to like fill in gaps and stuff. I just find it's nice to go back and look over previous scores. But yeah, maybe that's just me. Okay, so just a brief recap, although at least in this time we will get to get new tokens, which might be nice. So maybe we'll get some actual interesting ones like gaining actions. So just a quick recap of the game, how it works. This is a point scoring game. You're going to score points by building buildings, using actions and resources to build those buildings, and advancing along on these tracks to score points, as well as scoring points from creating settlements. We're playing the advanced mode, which is what... Oh, thank you, by the way. Good game. Yeah, I enjoyed that. If you played along, let me know your score. Did you beat me? Probably did. Post your score to me as a tweet, even if you play along later on using those same rules that I did. So that'd be quite interesting to find out. So yeah, so I am going to, briefly explain. So you're going to use these dice. These 3 are resource dice. This is a number of actions dice. You begin each round by rolling those dice. Then you're going to choose the token. Now in the adventure mode, which is the solo mode, we're just going to choose 3 of these tokens, and we're going to play with those all game. In each round we can choose one of those to use. It gives us a bonus or an ability that we wouldn't otherwise have. Then afterwards we're going to use the number of actions to do 2 things. You're either going to build, which is to cross off one of these boxes on the buildings here or along these tracks, or you're going to harvest by crossing off one of these circles. If you harvest, whatever resources in that circle you gain just for that round. So if you don't use it by the end of the round, it's gone. You can also use resources from these dice over here. There's 2 wood on each of these dice. There's 2 food on each of these dice. There's 1 stone, so stone is a rarer resource. There's also 1 gold, and gold can be used as if it was any of stone or wood or food. So it's generally better. After you've spent all of your actions, and bearing in mind if you do cross off a box with a resource in or number of resources in, you must have and spend those resources to be able to fill in that box and build that. After you've built, then you have the option to create a settlement, and this is only in the advanced version of the game, which we are playing, and that will allow you to score potential points or give each of the building of that settlement. So let's say you created a settlement for this building, which is the UK Games Expo, basically add 1 to the number of that benefit, and means it gets a better benefit. And after that, then you return the favor token that you chose for that round, and then you start the next round. So it's 10 rounds. The points at the end, we're going to use this chart to figure out whether you are a commoner, a servant, a squire, a knight, a castellan, a duke, a king, or if you are playing very well, the emperor. Now, I was the king in the last game. Very happy with that. Can I beat that? Hopefully I can. And yeah, just a couple of other bits. To fill in these buildings, you must go along from left to right, but you don't have to fill in the top one before you go into the second one. So these are like considered 4 different tracks. So you can start by filling in each of these tracks. As long as you go on from left to right, you can do that. And in terms of creating the settlements, you can only create a settlement by crossing off spaces that have already been built, and you cannot reorient any of these settlements. So if I wanted to build the UK Games Expo, for example, I could only build it by crossing off a reverse L shape. So if I filled in all of these 4 squares here by building these buildings, I could then create a settlement by crossing off those 3. You cannot reuse a building for 2 different settlements. So if I cross these off, that's it. I can never use those again. But if I can create a second settlement by building more buildings that are not those ones. Also, in terms of harvesting, at the beginning of the game, you have access to none of these islands, and the only way to get access to them is by going along this bottom track here. And as soon as you've reached the certain points, for example, the first 2 boxes are required to be filled in to build this island, and after that, then you can use an action to harvest those. The 3rd and 4th boxes are both required to be filled in to get access to the second island, and so on. And it's only the last 3 accesses of the last island, which, as you can see, is very plentiful in resources. Yeah, I think that's it really. So yeah, let's choose the tokens that we're playing with. I'm going to choose to get rid of that one and get rid of this one. So hopefully, okay, we've got the ally, which is nice. Now I like the ally because it gives you an extra action. And actually, considering I used this one most of all last turn, I'm actually happy to see that one as well. I did go down the sort of like harvesting kind of strategy in the last game. So yeah, that's the game. So we're going to start by rolling the dice. If you are playing along at home and you have these sheets, awesome. You can actually even just play along with any sheet that you've got, really. I just like this one because it's one that they gave away at the UK Games Expo, but you can download and print it and play along with it, even on an app or whatever, a tablet, just by sort of crossing off stuff. So yeah, if you're playing along, ready to play along, we're just going to compare our scores at the end and see who wins. So let's go. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to... Actually, before we do that, just briefly going to go over what these buildings do, just in case you can't really read them on my camera. This setup that I'm using is a little bit finicky because I am not a professional. I'm not a professional streamer. I like to think I am, but I'm probably very much in the amateur category. So I just need to make sure that you can actually see all of the stuff. Okay, I think that's fine. Oh yeah, I'm looking at the wrong thing again, damn it. That seems fine. I think I might even just need a little bit twisting over like that, but I think you can see everything. So yeah, let's go over what each of the buildings do. The Uffington White Horse, by the way, you can only use a building's benefit from the round after you completed building it, and to build it you must cross off all of these boxes. So the Uffington White Horse gains you 1 gold for every turn after the round you build it. So that's pretty good. The Tower Bridge, when you finish the last bridge, you can choose either this field or the last field on your Empire sheet and gain access to it. So this one basically allows you to change up the resources. And this is probably slightly, even though there's slightly less resources on that island, it's gold. So yeah, you get 2 gold instead, which is essentially like just more flexibility. So that's kind of cool. The UK Games Expo, which, by the way, in case you weren't aware, the UK Games Expo has been cancelled, but the rescheduled dates, which are in August, they're actually going to do an online convention, which is very exciting. They haven't revealed all the details of how it will work, but I believe they are trying to do it in a very technological way, so that's very exciting. So yeah, check out the website or follow them on social media if you are interested in that. So that's cool. So anyway, the Imperial Settlers version of UK Games Expo, each Imperial space is worth +2. Now, the Imperial spaces are the yellow column. So you see this. Basically, if you get to the end of the column, it's worth 2 extra points each, which is pretty good, but only if you build that. And if you increase this one, by the way, I was saying to you about creating settlements, adds 1 to the number, that does make it go from a 2 to a 3. It doesn't double it. It doesn't like use the same number again and add to itself. It's just +1. So that would become 3 points extra if you create a settlement of the UK Games Expo. The Eden Project, if the worker die shows a 3 or a 5, it adds 1 to the result. So it basically means you'll never get a 3 action turn, because it will always be at least a 4, which is quite cool. And the Stonehenge, if you were to create a settlement, this one doesn't have an action per se, but if you do create a settlement, which is just a big square with a gap in the middle, then you gain 16 points. And that can be done multiple times if you create completely different settlements. And that's 32 points. That's like almost, I was going to say it's almost half. It's not really. It's 32 points. 80 points is the maximum points, the maximum result you can get. So it is a big deal. Okay, so I'm thinking already right now, my strategy is going to be to try and get the Eden project built, which is nice and easy because it basically just means that you get 2 wood and an extra action, which is very likely with the dice. And if I even build the settlement of it, it means that my minimum action turn will be a 4. But if I roll a 3 or a 5, I'll get 5 or 7 actions, which is pretty mental. Okay, so let's go. Okay, so we've got 2 wood and a gold, and we've got 4 actions right now. I do apologize for my coughing, by the way. Okay, so if you're playing along at home, you use this. And we'll just compare scores at the end. Okay, so this is what I'm thinking. Right, 4 actions, which is pretty good. I did say I wanted to go down the Eden project route, which I could do. It would take me 3 actions and use those wood. I could take the ally, by the way, for an extra action this turn, so it takes me up to 5 actions, and then I'd have 2 actions to spend and 1 wood. Now, what I'm thinking of, I didn't actually explain the last building, Warwick Castle. If I fill in all those boxes, it's 10 points at the end of the game. So 1-off bonus, but it's a pretty sweet bonus. It does require 5 stone though. Okay, so yeah, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and go down the harvesting action again, because that worked out very well for me last time. So yeah, I'm going to take the ally, meaning I have an extra action, so I have 5 actions this turn. I'm going to first of all use my 3 actions of those 5 to build the Eden project. So I'm going to use those 2 wood, they are used, but I have now built the Eden project, which means that from now on, if I do roll a 3 or a 5, I get an extra action just for free, which is pretty good. Okay, so my 2 remaining actions. Now I could choose to do, I could choose to just bump that up, but because I've got a gold and it's as good as a stone, and stone is very hard to come by, what I think that I will do, especially because I did very well last time with regards to getting along these tracks, is I might try to build the UK Games Expo, because that's worth an extra 2 points. That could be potentially 6 to 8 points extra if I get all of them, which is unlikely, but at least 3 of them, which I almost did last time, I could get potentially extra 6 points. So yeah, I'm going to use one of those actions to build using this stone. So I've not built it yet, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the game is when that counts anyway. And then finally, I'm going to just progress slowly because I have no more resources to spend. I'm just going to progress slowly along the bottom track. So that's my first action done, my first turn done. So I had 5 actions, 1, 2, 3, spending those 2, and then a 4, and then a 5 to build this. Well, half build it. So there we go. First round's done. So you should be caught up. If you want to pause or whatever, you can do that. But I'm going to return that. Now, I can't build any settlements because I've not got enough built stuff. So yeah, let's just go on and go into the second round and make this a quicker game. Okay, well, already I'm thankful that I built the Eden project because as you can see, I rolled a 5, which I think is my first... Is my first 5? I can't remember if I rolled it last time. But it basically means that I have 6 actions. 6 actions for that, so that's good. So 6 actions, I've got 2 wood and a food here. What to do? Now I could start progressing along the wood space because that would mean, but I've got lots of actions now. I feel like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, and using the wood, and then maybe filling in one of those. I actually do have, haven't chosen my favor token yet. I do often forget to choose that. Do I want an extra just lucky resource? Because I've got 6 actions. 7 actions is a lot when you don't have a lot of resources to spend. And it would allow me to fill that in. So let's play this out just in my head. Ooh, having said that, I could get a lot more resources if I chose this action. Because if I don't have access to it. But let me check, because if I do fill in the dice, the bridges, do I get them immediately? That's what I've got to think about. Is there anything in here that specifically says about the bridges? If you know at home, let me know. Bridges provide a lower amount. Once a bridge is built, a player draws a circle right away. Okay, so you do get access to the bridge right away, so I can get them. So I could get access to this field, which means I could harvest free wood or free food because I can choose a dice. Bearing in mind, if I choose free wood to harvest, I can't then use free harvesting for the food. I have to just choose a die. So, do I choose that? I've got 6 actions. So let's just play this out. Let's say that I did this. So 1 for that. I've got then food, so I could do 2, 3 actions with the food because I could get that for free. Then I could do maybe 4, 5, and then there's not really that many. I could choose wood, I guess, and I could use the wood to build these. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3, because I would have that. Then so 1, 2, 3, 3 actions, and then I could use my free wood actions to get extra wood. So I'd get 3 extra, and then I could go 4. I don't even think I'd need to do that. I just need to get 1 extra. And then I could do the 5 and the 6. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take this. I think I'm going to take this because it allows me to just get free stuff. And I could either use it for food or wood. So yeah, let's do this. Let's just do this. So first action is going to unlock this bridge. So I've unlocked that. So now I can harvest either wood or food for free. I just have to choose which. My second action is going to be to unlock that. And my third action is going to be to spend one of those wood over here to unlock the second bridge. So now I have access to 2 of those islands, which is pretty sweet. Then my fourth action is whether do I get food? I've got food and a wood, so I could use a free wood. Yeah, so I think I would just take the wood, I guess. But then in that case, I should have just taken that, and that would have been better. Yeah, I haven't used it yet, so I think I'm going to do that. Is that cheating? I don't think so. So I'm going to do that instead. I could even just use an extra. Yeah, I'm going to take that, I think. So I've spent one wood so far. I've still got 3 actions left. So I think what I'll do is I will... I don't need that. I think I could do this and this, 4, 5, and then just cross off one of those. But what I really need to do is unlock this, and also I want to build loads of these. How would that work with that? Actually, I want to build that as well. So if I did that, I could just put it underneath. So I'd have cross here, and then I could build it under there. But what I really want to do is build this, because that's 16 massive points. Unless I do the big thing there, the one there, and then a star here, maybe? I don't know. That seems like something I want to get earlier on, but I don't think I'm going to get it a lot, you see. So 3 actions left. Or I could get an extra action and just but I won't get the extra harvesting. My goodness, this is tricky. I think that let's just take this. So 3 actions left. I will use it like a wood, and then I'm just going to go 4. So I've used that wood and the coin. So there's 2 actions left, and then my 5th action. Oh, I should have used it there. It doesn't matter. My 5th action is going to be to cross off this food here, and the 6th action is going to be crossing off this, and I'm going to be more mindful of that because that's pretty sweet as well. Okay, done. So that's the end of round 2. Okay, so now we go onwards. We put that back, roll more dice, round 3 begins. Okay, so I've got 2 food and a wood over here, and I've got 4 actions. Okay, so which one do I want? Do I want an extra action? Do I want to get free food harvesting or free wood harvesting? Or do I want to get a coin, which is like stone? And stone would be nice. Stone would be pretty sweet. Actually, I've got 2 food right there. I've got 1, 2, 3, potentially. I don't know. I don't think I need an extra action right now. I don't think I have enough stuff going on. So what I will try and do is I'm going to try and take this and then go 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and I don't know what the other one would be actually. Maybe not. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take that. That seems better for me at the moment. Okay, so choose. So yeah, first action is going to be to fill in this. So I've got 3 actions left. Second action is going to be to do that. Third action, I could just harvest a bunch of wood maybe. If I harvest 3 wood, I can get this and this built. Yeah, that's what I'll do. So I'm going to choose. So I'm going to take this wood and this wood here. So I got. No, I'm going to harvest this wood as well. So I got 3 extra wood. So I got 4 wood. So I'm going to go 3, 4. 4 actions done. All right. Now I still can't build anything. I still can't build any of these, but it's fine because I'm not planning to do that anyway. But that is a pretty rubbish turn overall because I don't feel like I progressed anything. But that's because I had bad rolls. Of course, you know, good player always blames his bad rolls. So let's go on. What have we got? Okay, so we've got a stone, which is good, and we've got a 4 there. Now, with this, if I got 5 actions, I could go 1, 2. Do I want to build this? Because it would be nice to just have a nice... I could do that. I could go 1, 2. Oh, interesting. I could harvest stone for free and just go all in on the stone. So actually I could get 3 stone. And I could be like 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And then build that and just get gold for the rest of the game. Yeah, this isn't feeling like as good as my last turn. Even though I said that at the beginning of the last round, I just feel like less comfortable at this. It's basically dependent on whether I can build Stonehenge. So I think I'm going to get the free stone because I can access it right away. And if I actually, 3, so 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. So wait, so I got 1 stone, and I need 1 stone, and if I need to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I can't do that, so that's fine. I don't need to do that. But what I will do is, actually, I'll build this. That's what I'll do. I'm going to build this and this. So I'm going to use this just to get free stone, just so I can access that, and then use 3 of the actions to build that, and then use the food on that. It does mean I'm wasting a wood, but I don't think I can use it anyway. And it gives me an extra gold every round. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to use this action. Well, I may as well use this then, right? Yeah, so I go 1, 2. Yeah, I'm just going to take that. It doesn't matter. I can do it either way. But yeah, so I'll go 1 for that, 2 for that, 3, nothing. And then 4, I'll use this food to do that. So I actually, now, I could potentially... build the UK Games Expo. Like I said, I'm not going to do that. I think I'm going to try and build Stonehenge. It sucks because I think that there is merit in building one of these earlier because it allows you to gain the benefits and use them for the rest of the game. But actually, for this game, I think that I just need to sort of rush down these and just try to build that Stonehenge maybe twice. Maybe I can do that. So we'll see. Anyway, I've done that. So that's the end of round 4. Put the token back. No settlement. I feel like I'm wasting that, but I can't build them. So can't build them. Okay. Very similar to last time. Got 2 food and a wood and 4 actions. Plus a gold. So with 4 resources and 4 actions, I feel like taking this is better now. So I can do 2 actions to build that food. I've got wood and a stone potentially, but actually maybe I do need to access this. And what I said is I want to rush down. If I build this, I can build Stonehenge, which is good. So yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to take my first... I have to decide whether I want to do this or this or this. So for those just tuned in, very simple game. You will probably pick it up, but if you have any questions, write it in the chat. I can see the chat right now, so I'm able to write if you need, if you have any questions and stuff. But yeah, ultimately, I'm halfway through the second game of the adventure mode of Imperial Settlers Roll and Write, which I should just show for you guys. That's the game. It's got a slightly warped cover because I brought it back from Germany, and I think my case got a little bit water damaged when the rain or something, so it's a little bit warped, but it's a great game. So yeah, okay, so what I will do, I need to bump this up. I can build Stonehenge this turn, which is awesome, and then I can get on with the other stuff. So if I spend 2 actions to do those 2 buildings, and then you can see I've created that, and then how do I maximize these? This one would be pretty sweet. There's no way I'm going to get those up there, because that would be better. But if maybe I could build it along here, that wouldn't be too much, I guess. Or I could build the UK Games Expo. I don't think I'm going to be able to get that in. So yeah, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take 1, 2, and then I've either taken extra free stuff, which is harvesting wood. Maybe that might be good because I get to do that for 3rd action. And then my 4th action, which I can spend the gold on, will be, I don't know, building this maybe get that out of the way. Yeah, I think that's probably the best idea. So let's do this. So I basically choose a result on our harvest die, harvest that resource for free. I'll choose wood. So I'm going to harvest that for free right now. So I still have all my 4 actions. My first action is going to be to spend 1 food to build this. My second action is going to spend on the second one. My third action is going to spend those 2 wood here to build this building here. And my 4th action is going to spend my free gold here to erect the UK Games Expo. So yeah, there we go. So that's it. End of round 5. Now I will utilize my opportunity to create the settlement, which is this little step on the sheet here, to build the Stonehenge. And I do like the way that it is actually sort of a ring of buildings. It's kind of a nice little touch there. So yeah, essentially what I'm doing now is I'm utilizing the settlement, which is this, to gain 16 lovely points. Now if I can do that again by the end of the game, that'll be amazing, because I actually only scored 16 points for settlements in the whole of the last game, and I did very well in the last game, so we'll see. We shall see. Okay, so that's the end of that round, round 5. We are now going to return that and then roll again. So again, very quick, just like a round like that, and that's with me waffling in it as well. Okay, so food round, I guess. We've got all 3 food results. Going to have 4 actions. So at this point, I could, with 4 actions, so I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's not going to help me to gain loads of extra food. The annoying thing that what happens in this is that the food track is very demanding of your resources. What I should try to aim to build right now is this Uffington White Horse, because this basically gains me an extra gold per turn. So I have 1 extra gold right now. I could gain another one by building that, but I have 4 actions. I have enough to use 3 of those actions to build that, which is fine, and it would potentially then let me build the Uffington White Horse the next turn, or even the Eden project, if I can boost those up. So that's the kind of thing I need to be thinking about, because that will give me an extra action, but it hasn't really come up so much. So yeah, do I want to prioritize building the Uffington White Horse? I want to build that ideally. I won't be able to build it this round, but ideally by next round, because then it'll give me 3 extra resources throughout the rest of the game, which would be good when I want to try and boost those up. Yeah, and I'm not going to get any stones. So I either go for free harvesting of food, which is no good because it won't get me anything. So I might just take the extra action this time. Gives me an extra action. I can use it to harvest and then use it on something. Although, having said that, maybe that would be a good time to use it. So I've got 5 actions. Now, obviously, I'm going to build 3 of them here. I could do that. Doesn't really help me, actually, I've realized. Yeah, this is a bit rubbish. Bit rubbish because of this. But I do have... Oh, I have the... Yeah, this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use those three of my 5 actions because of this to spend all that food there. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. My 4th action is going to be to build this. And my 5th and final action is using my free gold. And I'll basically unlock this. So I've unlocked the 3rd bridge, which is good because that's where I get all those stone. And that can be useful for building this. Okay, so that's that. Now I have to decide whether I'm going to build anything. Now I could... Oh, I can't. Question answered. I can't build anything. I do want to build the Uffington White Horse, which I can do as long as I get the 3 food next turn. Probably won't happen, but could. And then I can also then build the UK Games Expo on top of it, which gives me an extra point for the any time I reach those. So yeah, that's it. End of round 6, I think, isn't it? Yeah, end of round 6. Okay, so we're on to the next round, round 7. Okay, this is great because I've rolled a 5, and because of my Eden project building, I actually gain an extra action. So I'm up to 6 actions. I've got 2 wood, which is actually not bad. Now, if I chose this, I could get 2 extra wood, which means nothing. Actually, I could then use one of the wood there. So I could actually gain, for a free action, I could take that, and that would give me 2 extra wood, and my coin giving me 5. So I could go 1, 2, and then I have 4 actions with like 1 food. So I could obviously do like 3, 4, 5, 6. That could work. That could work nicely, I think. I think that's what I'll probably do, actually. So yeah, if I choose this action, I can then harvest resource for free, which I can do by harvesting this wood here. So then I would have 4 bits of wood, plus my gold, which can stand in as wood. So essentially got 5 wood. And then my first action would be to go 1, 2. And then my third action would be to take these 3 food, I think. Yeah? No, these 2 food. And then I can use those 3 food to go 4, 5, 6. And I think that's it then. And then I can build my Uffington horse. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. 6 actions. All right. So first action, first I choose this favor token. So I'm choosing yield. So the free action I'm going to do is to take the take the 2 wood here. So that's free. So I've got 4 wood, and I've got currently 1 food and 1 gold. So first 2 actions is I'm going to spend the 4 wood and the gold to go up here and up here. Okay, that means that I now have 4 actions left. My third action, I'm going to harvest this, which is this food here. So now I have 3 food in total, and I'm going to use my last 3 actions to do this and this and this. I just realized I actually can build another Stonehenge right now. That will probably be way more beneficial to me than building any increased stuff like that, because it's 16 points, and I don't necessarily think at this point of the game, where I only have 3 rounds to utilize any bonus, whether it's actually going to be the difference between me going from something that gives me 16 extra points, you see. Because even at a minimum push, 1 extra resource could only push me up to like potentially like 4 or 6 extra points. So I think, wild as it may seem to have 2 Stonehenges next to each other, that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, 2 Stonehenges. I'm going to do that. So that's what I'm going to do. My action, my settlement building action is I'm just going to go ahead and build Stonehenge again, because that's the great storytelling aspect of this game, I suppose. You can build as many Stonehenges as you can fit, which I did. So there we go, another 16 points. I can't do it again, surely. Do you think I can do it again? I don't think so, but we'll try. Well, you never know. Okay, so my next mission is to really try and get into this, which I'm kind of on the way there because of this. So that's fine. Okay, so yeah, that's the end of that round 7. So we put that back, and then round 8 begins. Okay, so, okay, that's not terrible because that turns into a 4 because of my nice bonus. Okay, so, now at this point, getting lots of food is beneficial, because if I was to take that action right now, I would actually have, even better, because I've staved up the food. If I took this action and I chose the food, even better. No, wait, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 actions. 4 actions. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4 maybe? No, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be the best action. That would be the best action if I just built all of these. And I can do that if I use this action here to draw. Yes, I'm going to do this. So I choose this, which means I get free food harvesting. So if I did that right now, do you know what I've realized? I've used this and I didn't have access to it, but it's fine because I did have access to that number of food in a different no. I think I used that previous turn as an extra action, but I didn't actually have access to it. So I slightly cheated here. But I don't know if I was able to do this because I think I might have used that as an extra action. However, it might not have made a huge difference at the time because I think I had the choice to either harvest food or wood. I'm not 100%. I do apologize. I don't usually like to do this, but I just noticed. So what I'll do instead is I'll just cross off 2 of these. It might mean I might have missed an action, but I don't think so because I think when I did it, when I harvested this, I think I had access to choose to do food or wood, which if I had the free food harvesting, then I would have just done 2 of those anyway. So that's not too bad. It's not too bad. However, it does slightly mess up my plans because what I meant to do... Oh, no, I think I'm still good. I think I'm still okay because I have the gold. So I have 1 of each resource. So 1 gold, 1 food, 1 stone, 1 wood. And if I use this and I use the food, I can go 1, 2 to get 2 extra food. So I get 3 food. And then I can still use 3 food and 1 gold to do those. So that would be 2 actions. Then 3, 4. So that's what I'm going to do. So my 4 actions are, first of all, choosing yield, and then as a result, using food to harvest these foods. So now I have all the resources I said. And then my 4 actions are as follows. 1, 2, therefore using up all my food and gold. And then 3, 4. Okay, done. So that is the end of that go. Nice and simple. And that's the end of round 8. And... ooh, I'm 1 way away from unlocking that, which would be pretty sweet. And if I could get the food again, well, I don't really need it now. That's the thing. When you get so far, it's like you don't actually need it. Although now I have to debate whether I want to go for UK Games Expo because actually it's already going to be worth 6 extra points if I can fill in those gaps. I've got 2 rounds, and that's really what I'm after right there. It's going to be tough because I need 3, 6, 11 wood, 11 pieces of wood. So I need to roll really well, and I need to access that island as well. And one of those wood needs to be used on the island, yeah. Oof, it's going to be tough, isn't it? Unless I choose to access that, in which case I'd have like 4 wood. But yeah, it's probably unlikely. Let's see what happens. Even like 4 extra points is still pretty good though. Oh no, but I want Stonehenge, don't I? This is the thing. If I don't think I'm going to be able to build Stonehenge, then I might want to just choose one of these instead. I don't think it's worth it. If I built it now, if I built UK Games Expo now, or Uffington White, no, I can't build that. If I built UK Games Expo right now, it'd be 3 points, but I can build that next turn anyway, and it doesn't hugely to my detriment. So I think I'm just going to not build anything. I'll just go again. Okay, so we've got 4 actions. We've got food and wood. I need lots of wood though. Well, the good news is I can use that wood and the gold to unlock this, and then I can either choose to either build this, which technically gives me more wood. No, it just means I could get it for free. Oh boy, this is tough. Now, I think maybe this. Why have I not rolled or used a lot of these wood? That sucks, doesn't it? Although, having said that, I will be able to build this and this. So actually then I can just focus my last turn on getting loads of wood, but I don't think I can. I don't think I can. So even if I use 3 plus 4, that's going to be tough. But I could spend that, so I get 3 wood. No, this is going to be rough, but never know. That isn't going to get me loads either. Okay, we'll keep going. All right, so wait, is that 5 stone for 10 points there? 6 stone for 5 points. Interesting. Okay. Well, I'm not going to be able to get that anyway. Unless I roll a stone on my last turn, in which case I could just like hoover up all of that stone and then maybe just use little actions to gain 10 extra points there. I don't know. Anyway, we'll carry on. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to choose to... Oh, what do I want? I could harvest wood for free, and then I could at least build that one. You know, I'm not sure. And I have to choose whether to get that one or that one. I think I'm just going to take the... I don't think I need the yield thing. Do I want to gain an extra action and maybe just like try to build something else? I don't know. I mean, if I rolled a gold or a wood and I chose that island on my last turn, or when I rolled a stone or a gold, I'd be laughing because I just get so much stuff. So I have to choose. When you finish the last bit, choose either this field or the last field in a new. I feel like that one's better, just because there's a good chance of getting at least one of those, even though I haven't really rolled that many this time. And then I get a load of resources for nothing. What do I want to do? Do I want to take this extra action, or do I want to take the gold? The gold's probably better. The gold is probably better. I think I might have to take this, because I can use it as food. And yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do this. So I'll take the gold. So I've got 4 actions, and it's pretty simple what I'm gonna do here. I've got 2 gold, I've got 2 food, and I've got 1 wood. One of those golds is turning into food, and I'm gonna use that. One of those other golds is gonna turn into stone, and then I'm gonna build that. And then I've got 2 actions left. 2 actions left. What do? I have access to this, or I could use one of these to access that, but no, that's crazy, isn't it? I won't be able to build all of those next turn. So do I do that and just build one of them? I don't know. That would get me. I could build 2 of these, you know, as long as I can build this one. I think, okay, this is wild. But I think my best action is I'm going to access this one. I'm not going to take that one. And I'm now going to use an action, my 3rd action, to build that. And then my 4th action is going to be to... No, I just realized I'm going to waste wood if I do this. No, I've spent that. Yeah, no, that's fine. I've spent it. So I'm going to build this. Okay, so now, end of the round, I'm going to build a settlement. It's the end of round 9, technically. I'm going to build this one, because this is actually, if I build this, I'm going to get 4 extra points. Yeah, 4 extra points, I think. Because if I build this now, it's going to be worth 2 extra points. But it just means I don't think I'm going to be able to build that next turn yet. So I'm going to build the UK Games Expo here. So I'm going to build this. It's going to be 2 extra points for me. Yeah, that's the best thing I think I can do with that. So that becomes a 2 now. Oh, no, that's not right. That's not right. That's the one. It's going to be worth 3 extra points at the end of the game. So yeah, that's that. Oh, sorry guys. Ooh, messed that up. Okay, so then the final round begins. So I put that coin back. And now, what I'm really hoping for in this is just to roll a lot of wood, I guess. But it's not really going to make... Actually, stone would be good. If I rolled high actions and get stone, I can take the yield action and just kind of hoover up all that stone, just to be able to get some way along that track, and that might be worth it. So let's hope we roll at least 1 stone. That's good enough. That's sort of okay. It's not really. It's not, because I can only hoover up 1 extra gold as a result of that. So I got 2 apples. I get 4 actions. So I got 2 gold because of this and that, and then I got 2 food. Food is like the worst possible thing I could have rolled, to be honest, because I don't need it, I can't use it, and it's wasted. So food is just in abundance and it's a waste. But can I get the 3 wood that I need to build that? And I think I can, which gives me an extra 2 points. It's not great. Actually, thinking about it, if it's going to give me 2 extra points, is it better for me to just pump that gold into here and use maybe the extra action to harvest that and then just go along here? So if I was to do this, gain an extra action, I'd have 5 actions. I could go 1, 2 to gain me 5 stone. It wouldn't make a difference. 3, 4, 5. No, it'd be silly. No, yeah, I think I'm probably better off building another one of those UK Games Expo by trying to use that gold to turn into wood. So I could just do this to gain, I get 3 gold, and then just building that for 1 action. and then I'd use my 3 remaining actions to maybe harvest some stone, and then just do that to get that. Yeah, I think that's my best option, really. So yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna have to do. So I'll take this. So I'll take the gold. That is right, isn't it? So I take the gold, and then I go 1, and then 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's fine. It's something at the end of the day. So yeah, I'm going to take the gold, lucky coin. So I get 3 gold in total. I'm going to spend all those 3 gold as wood, and I'm going to build that. So that's 1 action for that. 3 actions remaining. One of them is going to be to take this stone here. So I get 2 stones. So that's 1 action to harvest, and then just getting 2 extra points here. It's not much, but it's something. And I do get 2 extra points from building my last settlement, which will be the UK Games Expo again. Because again, this crazy world where I have 2 UK Games Expos. I mean, that's a pretty dream world right there. 2 UK Games Expos and 2 Stonehenges, because that is really the classic spirit of the UK, isn't it? That we're a bit kind of quirky. So that's that. So I bump that up to 4 points, this one here, because I've just built the settlement again. And now we total up the points because we're at the end. Okay, so unfortunately I didn't get any extra bonus points there, but let's have a look. So I scored 2 points in this, so that's really poor, but it's not the end of the world because I did sort of make up for it by building 2 Stonehenges. So the second track over here, I didn't get quite to the end. I got 16 points though, so I really feel like I only missed out on 6 points. Not too bad, but it was just the rolls weren't there for me. The third track is 21 plus 4, so I actually scored 25 for that. The fourth track is 9 plus 4, so that's actually 13 points, and then I get 2 lots of 16 there. So let's add everything up. I'm going to call this village. I didn't do this last time either, but I should have. So I mean to name my village, and I'm going to call it, just to get some sort of like synchronicity between my last village, which was called Chitopia. This one is Gigglesville. So Chitopia and Gigglesville. Now I'm going to keep that there because I'm going to see if I can beat my previous score. Did I drop something? I feel like I might have. Oops. Okay, so yeah, let's find that total. So I got 2 plus 16 is 18. 18 and 5 is 23, plus 20 is 43. 43 plus 13 is 56. 56, 62, 72, 82, 88. Is that right? I feel like that's way high. Hang on a minute. 2 plus 18. 18 plus 5 is 23. 43, 53, 56, 56, 62, 72, 82, 88. What? So I did both of them were palindromic numbers, but my goodness, I can't believe that kind of crazy multiple expo, multiple like heritage sites, Stonehenge, turned into an even better place. So Gigglesville is better than Chitopia by an exact 1/7. 77 and 88. So actually, pretty pleasingly, to end a stream, I've just scored the Emperor amount of points. So yeah, Emperor points, 80 points, but I even beat it by 8 whole points, which is pretty good. So there we go. Got there in just under 2 hours. I'm sure it doesn't take that long if you're playing not playing on a stream. So I felt like I had to talk through a lot of my decisions. One huge bit of advice, by the way, if you are choosing to play this at home, try and get some counters from like another game, or even like a D10 or 12 or 20, just to keep track of actions. Counters is probably better because it's whatever, but yeah, it's just really hard to keep track of. I would, if you don't have access to that, you see these like kind of round tracker. It's a good way to the wrong way around. The round tracker, you can kind of like mark down like actions as well, but it's not the best way to do it. But it is generally a better way to play, in my opinion. So yeah, I want to quickly go through and just look at some of these. This is the adventure mode, but it's with the sort of adventure deck. And as you can see in each of this deck here, there's different buildings, unique buildings. And the idea behind playing this is you do still go around and add up your score, but it's a way of like challenging you with different strategies each time. Looking at this one, which looks like the Aztec. That's a crazy settlement. I mean, that's wild. This one basically says re-roll dice. And in fact, if you are playing the adventure mode and the buildings come up with the re-roll dice, you must re-roll dice before you can choose to do any of your actions. That's a specific rule in the game. Yeah, it's just kind of cool. Like the way that it mixes it up and kind of gives you different options. The way that all the sort of like different races and factions from the various Imperial Settlers games are represented. You've got these sort of Egyptians here. You've got a few like kind of buildings on each of them. Looks like they may be the barbarians. Yeah, it's cool. I love this game. I just think it's a really neat roll and write, and it's a really good iteration of the game. It still feels very much in the spirit of the intent in the original game. Yeah, that's Imperial Settlers roll and write. Now, what I would say is if you aren't following me, you're watching this and you aren't following me on Twitch, or you're not subscribed to me on YouTube, please consider doing that. I do like to do these board game sort of videos, so I'd love to sort of be able to give you a notification anytime I go live. You can turn that off even if that makes any difference, but it would be good to kind of keep in touch. I've got another video tomorrow, very excitingly, with Calvin Wong, who, in case you don't know, is an actor and a writer and a big board gamer, and he's been in Crazy Rich Asians. He's written a lot of really cool articles online. He's a big person in the Netrunner community, so I can't wait to ask him a bit about that as well. 88 with the extra apple though. The variety looks great. With the extra apple, did I get the extra apple? Did I get an extra apple? Oh, with an extra apple. Oh, because of the apple I didn't use, I guess. Yeah. The variety does look good. Yeah, sorry, I was kind of like focusing too much on that there. But yes, the variety is great. It does mean that you're not just going to be sitting here playing like sort of the regular game over and over again. You can just be like, well, you know what, let's play these. That's like 48 sheets in there as well. So that's actually a good amount of variety to play with. So yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Yeah, so tomorrow, 6 o'clock British Standard Time, I'll be interviewing Calvin Wong. I'm very excited about. If you are free and you want to join in, like you can ask me a question, follow me on Twitter. You've got my well, I didn't put any of my social details on there, but you can find me on Twitter just looking for Chits and Giggles, or Instagram as well. But that's it for this stream. Thank you so much for tuning in, or for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, please tune into the next one, and I do look forward to seeing you then. So yeah, until then, take care.